Oh,
truer words are never spoken. It must be.
Tuesday. Must be
And we in the
Tuesday.
building. This is Down to In Sports Talk. Down to In Sports in the building. I am left-handed at RM Desk on Twitter, which is this right now. That's my code D in the building. Nobody holds it down. Nobody holds it down. Nobody holds it down like YadaBear in the building, aka Yadabrowski. Listen, we're gonna cover some things tonight. It's kind of like a free for all summertime. Everybody's enjoying themselves. The weather is kind of on some real relaxed, chill, letting you come back outside
Yeah.
stuff, right? You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we here in the building, get ready to chop it up, man. Week 2 of NFL preseason. Know you want to talk about some football, right? 6 weeks
Always.
left in the baseball season, right? NBA schedule drop, right? And we already this Saturday is week 0 to start the college football season. We're gonna definitely get into that because we was talking about it behind the scenes. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna make a confession. You know what I mean? Because I like to pride myself on knowing my thing when it comes to the sports thing for real, right? Like I can tell you all the teams that was in the Big 8, all the teams that was in the Big 12, the 14 teams that was in the Big 10. Now it's 18 teams in the Big 10. UCLA, USC's in the Big 10. They'll be playing games. For basketball season, it's going to be crazy. But for football season, it's going to be kind of different. And me and YadaBear was talking about it behind the scenes. It's like you were recruited on the strength of the weather when you were recruited for UCLA and USC. 12, beautiful weather all the time, bang, bang, bang. Now you're back in the Big Ten where the weather is what,
Mm-hmm.
Browski? Browski said monsoons, tidal waves,
Listen,
snowstorms. It's
snowstorms.
it's going to be like when the Chargers used to come to Cincinnati for playoff games. Remember that?
Yeah,
You
I
know,
mean,
you know what I'm saying? So
it's
again,
gonna
it's going to
be,
be a
yeah,
shock to their whole entire system, their
yeah,
whole entire being, having to go, cross country. You know what I mean? You usually going cross country for like big games, bowl games. You know what I mean? Or if you had a out of conference joint. Now all your joints that the travel miles you're gonna rack up gonna be crazy.
yeah.
And he's gonna be all in interconference games. So I say this to say YadaBear, and YadaBear's in the house as usual. Like I'm lost, man. I feel like I feel like Joe don't know nothing. You know what I'm saying? Because again, man, it's going to be crazy. But I'm gonna brush up on it though, and I'm gonna have it popping by the time this thing gets off. But yo, Browski's in the house, YadaBear's in the building. You know what I mean? What's good with you? How you be? What it look like?
Yeah, chilling over this way. Um, it's gonna be different coming, this college football season. Um, 12 teams playoff. This is the
Mm-hmm.
first year of
Mm-hmm.
that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
as you just said, the conferences is super different. We don't. You're not even sure who playing what conference.
Right.
Only thing that we do know is that again Notre Dame still not in the conference, therefore they won't be able to be eligible to get a bye. So even though they go undefeated, they still won't be able to get a bye in this college football
And I
format.
think Notre Dame plays this weekend. If
They
I'm
play
not
this week.
mistaken, I think Notre Dame plays this weekend.
I think so too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Also, they had the preseason All American list popped out. Shakur Sanders was what was hit as All American quarterback. The preseason
No, they don't.
list.
No, they don't.
Yeah, saw that. I said okay. But I mean, it's going to be interested. We're going to have what a three loss team can possibly make the playoffs this season.
Maybe a 4-loss team.
Maybe. But with the playoff expanding,
Mm-hmm.
now we get to see teams like uh, 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 a Boise State who may be going on one of those Cinderella runs. What we always have one of those teams that go undefeated, and it's like, oh well, this team doesn't get a chance in the playoffs, and then We seen what happened when one of those teams got into the playoffs and they got spanked, you know. But now we're going to get more of those teams, you know. We're going to get more of those, you know, um, a team from maybe like the American Conference or
A TCU, a
a t-
Liberty.
yeah, you know, a Liberty like that. Because again, we always had teams like that that's in the standings, and we look at the standings and the top 25, and we're like, well, why this team not in there? Or why this team not higher? They're undefeated, and then you look, and then they get in there, and then you know we get what happened, you know, to TCU like 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like I said, we probably get a 3 team, 2 team. So we probably get, you know, more SEC teams in the playoffs, more Big Ten teams in the playoffs, more Pac-12 teams. I mean, it just Big 12. It's just so many teams that's out here, and we get to see those matchups that we wanted to see during the regular season. You know, we get a Texas versus Alabama. You know,
Yeah, who wants to see that in September? I want to see it in January in the
I,
playoffs.
I get it, but
You know what I'm saying?
but the way this playoffs is set up, you might be able to see it in September and in January.
Yeah, and you might see mess around and they might play 3 times because you got to play the regular season joint, you got to play the conference championship joint, then you got to play in the playoffs.
Yeah. So
It's wild. It's wild. It's
so
wild.
so it might bring back old rivalries. It might start, you know, new rivalries up. Like you said, we might see, you know, Ohio State, Penn State 2 times, 3 times. You know, best out of 3 go to the conference, go to the championship. We don't know. You know, who knows what's going to happen? Maybe this is the year that Penn State can finally beat Ohio State or Michigan. You know, because they're going to have more than enough chances to play them.
Right. That's right.
You know.
But
It's just going to be interesting to see. You know, and when I saw like the rankings, the preseason rankings, um, why is everybody so big on Oregon? Like, what's going on in Oregon?
I think Oregon is set up to either have a nice run or they're gonna let a lot of people down. I think this Oregon team has been built up like, I don't know if you remember Joey Harrington.
Mm-hmm.
This is when they first started wilding out with the uniforms.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, Oregon, you know, they put a lot of money into them. They got a lot of transfer things going on at Oregon, so they hyped and charged. But like you said, I mean, the hype around Oregon, they only got 1 first place vote.
That's what I'm saying. Why is it so much hype
mean?
around Oregon?
We get ready to find out, Browski. We get ready to find out. To me, you know, that you could throw 10 teams in a hat and you'll come out with 10 different, you know, choices every time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My college football team is Miami Hurricanes. All right. We should be doing some things this year. I'm looking forward to us trying to get into a major bowl. And we'll talk about that as the season progresses. Yep. But let me say this, and then we're gonna get off of college football. Let me say this. The NCAA is so desperate right now. Please let me be clear. The NCAA used to be a bully. The NCAA used to be a powerhouse. And notice the key word is used to be. The NCAA used to be the be-all, the end-all. Now it's not. Now the NCAA is trying to catch up. What used to be easy for the NCAA as far as getting players and, you know, making great athletes and stars out of these guys. Now these guys have choices. They don't even got to come see you no more. Education be damned. UCLA and USC is in the Big Ten. Education be damned.
Yeah.
So why don't they just, and we know over here down in sports, they're never going to admit to really what it is. It's a money grab. These kids are getting NIL deals out the ears. You got to recoup some of that some kind of way. These sponsors is under pressure. The universities are under pressure. The presidents of the universities are under pressure because why, Browski? They gotta win.
Gotta win.
By any means necessary. So all these conferences jumping into bed with each other it just creates what we used to call something that rhymes with Husterbuck. So I think that we see what it is. It's a money grab at the end of the season. It always is.
Yep.
Browski, it went from 4 teams in the college football playoff to 12 teams. They didn't even try to play it off and be like, well, we'll try to, gradually, increase.
We're going to like 8. We go to 8. They went from 4 to 12 like that.
They said we're going to put 12 teams in the college football playoffs. So you mean to tell me more than half of the top 20 will be in the college football playoffs? This is what the NCAA is telling me and my partner over here, Browski. This is what you're telling us, that half of the AP top 20, the UPI, the coaches, down in Sports Talk, all those people who rank of their top 20 is going to be in the playoffs. More than half, give me 12.
12.
More than half of the teams will be in the
12 best teams. So, I mean, we'll see how it goes. I feel like the playoffs is gonna that's a lot of games, Now it's gonna make these bowl games more important. And it's going to stop people from is it going to stop like these top players from sitting out of bowl games? Because that's been the story for the past couple of years where you are projected top 5 pick in the NFL,
right?
But your team is playing in the Peach Bowl.
The first bowl game that they've been to in 20 years.
Yeah, and so if you win this bowl game, you progress in the playoffs. So it's like, are you going to play or are you going to sit out? See, that's going to be the question now, and I think it's going to be a lot more pressure that the team's going to be putting on these players to play in these bowl games, and not sitting out. And I feel like next year they're probably going to put something in writing to make these players sign some type of contract that state that if they are an NFL projected draft pick, that they still have to play in the bowl to be eligible to enter the draft. I'm feeling like that's something like that's going to come into play, because now that there's 12 teams, there's more opportunity for these teams to win a championship now, like they never did before. And if you're telling me that my number 1 quarterback, my starting quarterback, who is projected number 1 draft pick, is going to say, no, I don't want to play. Well, you got us in this position, and you got us in this position to be in this bowl game, and also with the team around you, we put you in a position to be a draft pick, opportunity to go to the NFL. So I feel like these schools are going to put something in writing like, yo, you can't enter the draft unless you play in this bowl game.
Browski?
And that's going to be wild.
You know how many court cases?
That's going to be wild. I mean, listen, they already allow them to get NIL deals. So now the NCAA is like, look, we're allowing you to get money.
You're telling me the school, not you, Browski, the school is telling me that unless I play in a bowl game, right?
Yep.
I've thrown for 4,700 yards, 42 touchdowns, Heisman Trophy. You telling me, the school is telling me that unless I play in the bowl game, it jeopardizes my NFL standing, my draft standing, that I can't play in the bowl game, that I can't get in the draft. I will go undrafted and watch somebody sign me.
And you know what the school is going to tell that player? You can get injured at any time.
That's true, but I choose not to let this time be the time. that I
Yep.
get injured.
You could get injured anytime. You could have got injured
It
in
just
week
won't be
7.
this time.
Yeah.
It
So
won't
now
be any
they,
time. It just
yeah.
won't be this
So
time.
I just feel like that, like in the back of my mind, like I just feel that, like, yo, they're going to try to force these players to play in these bowl games, because these bowl games are now very important, because these bowl games is going to be like the first round of playoffs.
Here's a novel idea. Here's a novel idea. And Browski might get mad at me because I'm trying to think outside the box. Here's a novel idea, Kimmy. Why don't they play the bowl games in the beginning of the season?
Um,
And let me expound on that real quick, because I know you got a response. Let me expound on it. First of all, you have all your players. Can't nobody talk about they ain't playing or they can't play or they don't want to play because of the draft, right? Whatever money and expense was going to be paid out by the bowls, you know what I'm saying, Brasky? The sponsors, they could get that early. Now you take the emphasis away from that and you just play the season out. You don't have that. You play the bowl game in the beginning of the season. If you win your conference championship, you play your conference championship game, and that'll be the last game of the season. If you got a conference championship, and then we'll just take it back to the polls, because at the end of the day, you're gonna have cause a lot of acrimony between the student athlete and the football team specifically, because we ain't really got to worry about basketball, because basketball is different. You know what I mean? But on the it's going to be crazy. So how does the NCAA, which really ain't trying to get that sponsorship money up, we still talking about this, but we're going to jump into week 2 of the preseason in a second. Wow. And you know what I mean? Because the NCAA is hemorrhaging bread right now, yo. They don't know whether they're coming or going. They're in a whole scrambled situation. They don't know what to do. They don't came up with a week 0. Like it's desperation moves.
yeah, man, I can't really see them
Putting the
doing
bowl
it
games
in
in the beginning.
moving it in the beginning. Maybe mid-season bowl game.
I mean, it's just an idea. Maybe that maybe that could work
Maybe
too.
I can
You know
see
what
it.
I
I can
mean?
see a mid-season bowl game more than a beginning of the season. I mean, no, I think it's still gonna be at the end of the season.
All right. And the
I think
reason
it's
why I
still
say
going to have to be in the end of the season. Yeah, they're
look
gonna
at
have to figure
look at
this
the
out.
look at the tournaments that they have before the season starts in basketball. They preseason NIT. You know what I mean? They have preseason, tournaments in before the basketball season, the holiday tournaments, but they have preseason tournaments. It was just an idea, like just to think out the box and jump out the window and say, okay, since
Yeah,
y'all don't want to play because it's too late in the season, too close to the draft, the schools want y'all to play. Now the schools are going to force you to play. So
yeah,
if you put a bowl game in the middle of the season or in the beginning of the season, you already have your money. You're already paid off. You could go from the rankings of the preseason rankings and say, okay, we're going to put Georgia in the Sugar Bowl against, I don't know, Oregon. Have all your dope matchups in the beginning of the season, and then let the chips fall where they may, and let the season play out.
yeah. I mean that sounds dope. I wouldn't have a really a big problem with that, because as we just stated, like, well, why, what's the big fuss about Oregon? Well, now let me see, because now Oregon had to play Alabama in the first week in the Sugar Bowl, and now we'll see what the big fuss is about,
Right. That's right.
or something like
Absolutely.
that. So,
Absolutely.
I mean, I could see that, like your bowl, the bowl games will be based off of your preseason ranking, or your bowl, or if you do it in the middle of the season, that will force the committee to do like a mid-season official ranking, you know, because they generally do like the first official like ranking, like halfway through the first.
Oh, you talk about the college football playoff joint.
Yeah,
Yeah, they do it
yeah,
like around maybe a couple weeks before Halloween, maybe sometime in October.
yeah. So I feel like if they want to do move the bowls mid-season, then you can have the bowls based off of the first official rankings.
Or why would he do it like this, based off your idea? Take the rankings from the first half of the season,
Yeah.
and then you slot them in the bowl. They're already bowl eligible. Those
Yeah.
squads are already bowl eligible. Then the second half of the season, those teams that have something to play for, going towards the end of the season, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we just see it kicking around some ideas over here. Diamond
Yeah.
Sports Talk, Left-Handed. That's my co-D YadaBear. We're in the building. NFL weeks 2 of the preseason. I know Brasky want to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles. I definitely want to chop it up about my Buccaneers. We lost to Jacksonville. No sweat off my brow. Shout out to Florida boy Jay. What's your Eagles looking like in week 2 of the preseason?
Well, week 2 definitely raised a lot of concerns. My antennas start flickering.
Uh-oh. Stop the
Number
construction on
one,
12 undefeated, right?
number one, with this backup quarterback situation. Okay, Kenny Pickett is trash. Okay,
Basura, Garbaggio.
It's bad. This guy, and it's so bad that we can't even really get a good feel on these receivers that we're looking to, because we need a slot receiver, because Paris Campbell that we have signed, he's been injured, so we don't know what he's looking like. We bring in John Ross. This guy looks like he should have stayed retired.
Right.
And then we have our draft picks out there, but Kenny Pickett is so bad that we can't really evaluate these receivers, because this guy can't throw the ball no more than 10 yards down the field.
You saw that in Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Yeah, it's everything that we've seen in Pittsburgh is extremely true. And it's even worse because it's preseason. You're playing against the backups, You're playing against guys who
teams
are
you should be doing work
in a
against.
roster spot, who may
Right.
not even be on a team
Right.
from week 1 of the regular season. And this guy is holding the ball too long. He's taking unnecessary sacks. He has happy feet. He doesn't know how to read the defense. I'm looking like, what in the world? What did they see? Why did they trade for this guy? Like, I just don't understand. And when I look at our third string, he actually looked like he should be the backup. A guy named Tanner, he looked like Tanner should be the backup, and Kenny needs to be somewhere
On the
past
practice squad.
Okay,
Let's
like,
go, Browski.
this guy is horrible, and for him to have been a starting quarterback, for what a year and a half,
A hot minute.
but he has at least 10 starts as a starting quarterback. For him to look like this in preseason is crazy. So that's concerning. Our slot receiver, you know, position, we have some concerns because, like I said, Paris Campbell still injured. We got these guys out here. We don't know who's going to make the team. I feel like there's some guys that's out here in free agency that we could pick up. You got a guy in Hunter Renfro who's not on the roster. You got a guy, Juju, who just got cut from the Patriots. They signed this guy for like a 2-year deal, and then they cut him. Like, there's guys out there. You got an Adam Thielen out there. Like, there's guys out there that we could bring in. I need Howie to make a move. Steen got hurt against the Patriots, and he got an ankle injury. But it was already set in stone that he wasn't going to be the starting guard anyway, because he's not looking too good. I don't know what happened from him being in Alabama, from him getting a couple starts last year to this year. You would think that he would have progressed better. He took a step backwards. So I don't see him starting at all. I feel like they're gonna pick up another offensive lineman, and I mean, truthfully, we're just waiting for the regular season to start. I still feel like we probably need to pick up one more safety because CJ Garner Johnson he's still nursing like a shoulder injury. Um, I'm waiting for them to cut Bradbury because he looks terrible at safety. Like I don't understand how this guy just regressed super bad. Like you came from you're 2 years removed from the Super Bowl starting as a corner. You had a decent year that year. Last year you was horrible, and this year you're playing in these preseason games as a safety. It's just bad. It's just a bad look for him. I feel like it's time for him to move on. They need to cut him, or he just need to retire. It's just not looking good for him. Um, but other than that, it's not really much we can go off of besides like what we seen in practice. Saquon looks good, Jalen looks good, AJ, Devontae, they all look good, but we won't be able to tell until first game of the season because none of these guys are
Yeah,
playing no preseason. So
that's
you
right.
know, what
All
about your
right.
Bucks?
That's the Eagles report from Browski over there. Buccaneers. We've had joint practices with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we played them, and we lost 20-7. Most of the starters had the night off, but Kyle Trask, who was the backup for Baker Mayfield, played his way into position, 12 and 19 for 108 yards, threw a touchdown pass for 6 yards to Cody Thompson. I think that offensively, we didn't really have not a lot of opportunities to get the ball. It was Jacksonville, Mac Jones, remember him from the Patriots? Jacksonville backup now, and he played a pretty decent game. They made a lot of dink and dunk plays down the field. And once again, our old bugaboo that I've been talking about since the last 2 years on Down in Sports Talk, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, our defense. Sometimes we forget how to tackle. You know what I mean? Um, I think that like I kind of concur with what you said. It's still early in the process. We didn't play our starters. Um,
Mhm.
John Wolford, who was the third string, he handled the second half snaps, and I think that he tried to play himself in the position as being a hero because he got knocked the hell out. Word up, but we'll see about that. But I think that 5 sacks is pretty efficient on the defensive end, but 5 sacks, what happened to all the missed tackles? What about that? You know what I mean? So I'm looking forward again to seeing some more from my man Bucky Irvin, the running back we got from Oregon. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And again, I just think that we're gonna do what we do. We rested 31 players, which says a lot about where we are in our process in our situation. Injury wise, Kayvon Merriweather, he hurt his right knee in the first half, and he was later ruled out. So pretty much, not too much on the health tip. We good. We play the Miami Dolphins in Tampa on Friday night to close out the preseason, and then we'll get ready to get it cracking against the Washington Commanders and Jalen Daniels, who's been
Starting.
named the Washington Commanders starter, which I think is a good look. So Tampa Bay
Yeah.
got to be ready. You know what I mean? But we're gonna definitely get ready for that. Coming down the line, talking some football, getting everybody prepared, and all of that good stuff. We got the Eagles over there, NFC East. We got the Buccaneers in the building, NFC South. We see each other. You know what I mean, it's going down. So, anything else in that interests you in as
Yeah.
far as the NFL
Oh yeah.
preseason?
Oh man. Here's my thing.
Mm-hmm.
All this hype around Caleb Williams. They talking about this guy like he's the second coming of Patrick Mahomes. You know, I know that you gotta hype up. You gotta hype up the set because he's the number one overall pick. But sometimes they need to slow down. They're putting too much on this guy for him to come out here and during the regular season and like I don't know what if his first game he has a terrible game. What they gonna call him, a bust or something like that. Like they put so much pressure on his kid. It's just crazy. And also, you don't really hear much about Marvin Harrison Jr. out in Arizona. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's kind of quiet. It's keeping things a little hush hush out there. And in Minnesota, JJ McCarthy out for basically the
that's
season.
messed up.
That's a hurt piece because he was looking like something. He was looking pretty decent out there. Their first preseason game, and I said, okay, they got something, and now that he's down, Minnesota's back at the drawing boards once again. And one other thing is, will Brandon Ayuk be a 49er or a Steeler before the regular season starts? Who knows? Like,
I'm gonna say this about that situation. It's always, you somebody that has to have dramatics, financial dramatics. You know, I don't think it would be a preseason if somebody doesn't have a holdout or if they have a
mhm.
contract demand or they want to renegotiate. And again, football has proven to be I love you now and don't like you later. You can win the Super Bowl one year, get cut the next. So I understand from the player's perspective, but how much is too much? You know, because the owners, I mean, I get it, I get it. The owners are able to pay these millions of dollars. Imagine what they're making, but
Yeah,
they're not going to lose no money. I get it. I totally get it. So for me, I'm thinking that you have to be worth your weight, right? If you're making all these, you should never drop the ball.
facts.
You know what I mean? Now,
Catch
that's
it.
just me, Browski. You know what I'm saying?
Catch
Like,
everything. Catch everything.
yeah, you catch everything. Like, you
Catch
know what I'm
everything.
saying? If you're an offensive lineman and you want to hold out and you want to get this money, and the remark I was making about catching everything, that's towards Mike Evans, right? The remark about the offensive line I'm making is towards Tristan Wirfs.
Mhm.
Like, never get a holding penalty, which Wirfs really doesn't really catch many holding penalties like that.
True.
Don't get beat for those sacks. Wirfs really, he's one of the best, linemen, offensive linemen in the game, right? But again, always show up. If you want all these millions and billions of dollars and this and that and the third, Mike Evans should never drop the ball. And I
And
hear a lot of people was talking about that too. Late in the season, Mike, and we talked about it on the show, Kim. I was like, yo, what's up with Mike Evans, yo?
you get the dropsies.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So again, people remember that. But he got his money. So now, and people don't forget, so we'll see what happens with that. But I just think that the football season is going to be exciting. I'm ready to see these young quarterbacks, really get it in real time. Jaden Daniels, I think, is going to be a difference maker. They've been looking for a difference maker for a long time.
Well,
In
they hope.
Washington, go ahead.
I said they hope.
Yeah. I mean, McLaurin, the wide receiver that they got Austin Eckler. So again, I think that Washington could, I mean, 6-11. I don't know, but we'll talk about that too in a couple of weeks when we do our preseason and
Yeah.
we do our picks. Um, a lot of people down on the Cowboys, like
Well,
I
well,
mean,
well, they got their own situation going on
yeah,
there.
the best news they got all week was that they're worth $10 billion.
You know, CD,
That's the best word.
Micah,
That's the best
Dak,
news they got all week.
they all
Good.
they all looking. They all got their hand out. They're looking for a pay raise. So
But
they definitely got their own
a pay
situation
raise
going on
for
there.
what? A
Yeah.
pay raise for what? What did you do?
Again, these guys, want to
Talk,
raise
talk to
and
me.
and, and
I'm the owner of the team. I'm watching you in the playoffs combust. I'm watching you below the. I'm watching you
yeah,
at home. I'm
but
watching you.
but when the
And then you
season's
walk up
over,
with your hand stuck out like I
but
ain't
when the
giving you
season
enough.
over, you like this.
Bruh.
I need more money.
And I don't even talk like that, bruh. I don't even talk like that. I mean, you know what I mean? You almost got me tempted to say, "Shut up and go catch the ball." I'm almost tempted to say that because again, you're not coming to me with no Super Bowl trophy in your hand. You're not coming to me with no Super Bowl runner-up.
Listen, they're not even Super Bowl trophy. They're not even coming in with a NFC conference championship.
Right. Okay? Like, you know what I'm saying? But then you want me, out the goodness of my heart, to give you how many more $1 million?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Give me, I'm like,
Nah, I feel you.
And look at some franchises, Browski Bear. Look at some franchises, yo. You got franchises like the Steelers who ain't giving you nothing.
Still nothing. Steelers.
They're nothing. They're not giving you nothing.
Packers.
The Packers are owned not by a conglomerate. They're owned by the people.
Yep. Packers don't give you no bread like that.
The Giants ain't giving you no bread. You
Giants
see what they did to Saquon? Well, they gave Daniel Jones his bread, but that was a bad move. When they decided to give somebody some money, they gave it to the wrong guy.
They gave it to the wrong guy.
When the Giants decided, and yeah, Horse, I see you. When the Giants decided to pay somebody some money, they gave it to the wrong dude.
They gave it to the wrong guy.
And it was a year late. So Saquon, they could have paid him. They would have took care of him already.
Yeah.
They wanted him to go through that tax stuff twice. Oh, no.
Yep.
Oh, no. So, again, Browski, I feel like, a lot of these cats, man, and what I'm getting ready to say is kind of crazy. They get the money, and then they just kind of like the switch goes off. And I use the example, Sean Alexander. I always bring him up because that's my favorite one. I'll go. That's my go-to.
Soon right? As he get that bread.
Soon as he get that money, Kimmy Bear, this dude started running out of bounds. Like what?
Yo, I remember saying because the year before they gave him the bread, he was running hard.
Yeah,
he was running hard.
That's what they had like Hasselback and quarter. Yeah, Sean Alexander was the truth.
And then as soon as he
signed a contract and got X amount of money, and AC, that's Sean Alexander since.
Yeah, I said, oh no.
If anybody out there see him, tell him it's a little too late, but we hope he spent his money not all in one place. Down in Sports Talk, we in the building. Lefthandid RM Des on Twitter, which is this right now. That's my co-D in the building, YadaBear. She talking about her Philadelphia Eagles and all that good stuff. Let's throw a little off-season basketball in the mix. You made that signing. I know that the Sixers and your fan base and your fellow Sixer fans are going to market it and run that in the ground. Your guy, the guy that you just signed from the France national team. How can I say this politely, Browski? He shaboy-moinged it on LeBron. He booked it on LeBron. He did the French croissant in the face on LeBron.
Yeah.
So now he's a member of the Philadelphia 76ers. How do you feel about that?
Oh, I'm loving that pick. I'm loving it. Not only just because he dunked on LeBron, but
no.
No, like what?
You got to put some of that Philly. How you say that John on it? You got to put some of that Philly. You got to put.
Number one, when he dunked on that man, okay, I knew. I said, this is his poster right here. I said, this is what he's been working for his whole life. And when he seen that LeBron was going to be on the U.S. team, he dreamed of that moment, and for him to get that moment to come to life on national TV,
right?
In the gold medal
game, absolutely,
was beautiful, and it was beautiful, and I felt happy for him even before. The Sixers signed him. I said, damn. I said, he just dunked on LeBron. I said, this is what he's been waiting for his whole life.
He didn't just dunk on LeBron. He embarrassed LeBron. Like, for me, that was almost it wasn't as crazy as the Vince Carter over Frederick Weiss joint.
Oh
It
yeah,
wasn't as
yeah,
crazy as
no,
that. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Because I gotta give Frederick Weiss a little bit of respect because the Knicks drafted him. I don't know what they was thinking about, but that in the context of how great LeBron has always been, you know what I mean?
yeah,
And
yes.
nobody that was a serious in the face, no question about it. Wasn't no almost or he turned around like they be trying to do
Nah,
the
he
Starks dunk
straight.
on Jordan and Grant. Oh, Jordan wasn't in the play, and nah, son,
Nah, nah.
he booked it. He got in LeBron's chest and
Yes, he
booked it
did.
on him.
Yeah,
Bang,
yes, he
bang.
did. And
You know what I
what's
mean?
crazy is that the Boston Celtics drafted him.
Mm.
They drafted him. They let him go. Then he went back overseas. He played in the European League all the time, and then he played for Team France. So having him here, power forward position, um, we're gonna see what he got. If he could bring that same excitement, that same aggressiveness, that energy that he played with, in France during the Olympics, I welcome him with open arms. Like I said, give us more depth at that power forward position. Um, he definitely was a monster on the boards during the Olympics. So like I said, if he could give me half of that, you know, I'm happy with it. I'm happy, to see what could be, with this guy. If the hype is good, if it just if he just had like a short run for the Olympics, or if it's something that
Right,
he can
right.
continue
I don't want that.
through
I
the
don't
whole
want that
season.
LeBron dunk to be his moment. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
I mean, it's going to be his
I want
moment,
to
but I
see
don't
more
want him to.
moments.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So
So
now he's got his chance.
we're gonna see what it is. Preseason coming up, training camp coming up soon. You see how we work them in. But what's so crazy though about this NBA schedule? That real fast. You see Trey Young made a statement that the Atlanta Hawks don't have a game on MLK Day,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is
They try to they try
I
to
thought that
clown
was
him.
crazy.
Right.
You know, the Hawks always play on Martin Luther King birthday, and I thought that was like something that was like set in stone. With the NBA, Martin Luther King, Atlanta, like the whole connection. And when he first mentioned it, I was like, oh yeah, whatever. But then I had to take a step back and think about it. I said, whoa, wait a minute, that's wild because the Hawks always play on MLK Day, and I think that's crazy that the NBA they stopped that tradition this upcoming season. That's a little wild to me. I don't know what's going
I
on.
think I think that the NBA, made a mistake. They should have had Atlanta. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, play at home on MLK Day. They've got Memphis playing at home on MLK Day. I think that they try to shift maybe the emphasis of it. And this is my theory.
Hmm.
If they dump either Atlanta or Memphis, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So again, with them trying to add, it was from one game, 2 games. That was what 3 or 4 games on MLK Day.
Hmm.
How come one of them couldn't be in Memphis and one of them could be in Atlanta? You got
Exactly.
Dallas and Detroit every Thanksgiving.
That's
Hook or
what I'm
crook,
saying. You always got dollars, and you always got dollars
right?
in Detroit playing things like
Hook or crook,
Thanksgiving Day football. We always know there's gonna be a Detroit Lion game.
that's
Dallas
right.
going. We always know that. We don't care what time, who they put. We know that Detroit's going to be on my TV screen on
Mm,
Thanksgiving.
right.
And for the past couple of years, I'm like, yeah, I know that MLK Day, Atlanta's going to be playing somebody, and for
Right.
them to take
At
it
two
away,
o'clock. Right. Right.
it was
That's
wild, and I
right.
was like, dang, that is wild. And for Trey Young to bring it up, and I was like, and I had to think, like I said, I had to think about it. I said, dang,
Yeah. I mean,
I said that
again,
is wild. Like,
yeah, it is.
where,
It is.
why would they do
Adam
that?
Silver. I mean, I don't know, man. We can talk about that all night, but
Yeah.
still nothing will change. But we see what it is. 6 weeks left in the baseball season.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of excitement. I think that some things is getting ready to happen in regards to a bunch of these divisions. We saw what the trade deadline happened and came and went. Didn't really, move the needle like it was supposed to, or like we thought it would.
Right.
A lot of teams still have chances to punch their tickets, and I think that's the best part about it. Um, I'm liking what the Yankees are doing right now. We're just treading water right now. You know what I mean? All roads point to that season-ending series against the Baltimore Orioles. That's where we are right now. Late August. You know what I mean? Let's just tread water. Do what we have to do. We got a Dorton schedule that's coming up ahead of us. You know what I mean? The last 6 weeks, but that last series against the Baltimore Orioles is going to decide everything. It's going to decide division. It's going to decide wild card standing. It's going to decide everything. So put yourself in that position. You know what I mean? And the Orioles are looking at the Yankees just as well as the Yankees are looking at the Orioles. You know what I'm saying? So again, I didn't understand what the thing was with Jason Dominguez coming up for the Little League Classic and then going right back down. I understand we need to lend a left-hand bat, but I mean, as evidence, he didn't really do nothing. You know what I'm saying? And then just to send him back down was kind of crazy to me.
Mm-hmm.
But the Little League Classic, I enjoyed it immensely. I think that'll be a tradition. It was great to see Jazz Chisholm. And listen, I'm going to pop my collar. I'm going to pat myself on the back. I'm going to toot my horn. I'm going to play my tune. I didn't hear none of you cats talk about Jazz Chisholm coming to the Yankees. I was the only one, right? Jazz Chisholm was sitting in the crowd, chilling with the fans, caught up in the moment as they all should. You know what I mean? But I think Jazz is gonna, he's gonna bring that flavor to New York, which he already has already. You know what I mean? So I think he's an important component to what the Yankees are trying to do. Let's just see what happens for the rest of the season. 6 weeks to go, and it comes and goes like that. We're at the 6 week to go part already, Bosky. You know what I mean?
Yes.
We were talking about Memorial Day a few weeks back. Now we're at 6 weeks to go, and it's going to be crazy. 6 teams make the playoffs. You know what I mean? I'm surprised right now a little bit at the Kansas City Royals that they're still trying to hang around by a thread.
They
You know what I
still
mean?
hanging around. They got 70 wins.
Yeah, I picked them to win the division. You know what I mean? And again, I think that they had a good season, having a good season. If they make the playoffs, I'll be impressed. Nice young team, and they're doing their thing. What's your vibe in regards to your Philadelphia Phillies?
Coming off of the All-Star break, we went through a little slump.
Mm-hmm.
We got back, a little bit on track these last
Mm-hmm.
couple of series. But right now we're in the series against a 3-game series against the Braves. Then after the Braves, we play the Kansas City Royals. And then we got I believe another 3-game series against the Astros. And then we got the Braves again at home for a 4-game series. So these next couple of series, especially against the Braves, are very important to expand on that lead. Right now we got a 7-game lead on the Braves. We got an 8.5-game lead on the Mets. And right now the focus is just to try to expand on that lead. If we could take 2 out of 3, against the Braves in this series, that would be great. If the next 2 series against the Royals and the Astros, if we can come away with at least one series win against one of those 2 teams, I'll be happy with that. But I just need us to really focus on beating the Braves. I need us to just keep our foot on their necks. That's all I'm really worried about right now.
Crazy.
That's all I worry about.
Yeah.
Is expanding. Like, we got 7 games. We got 7 games against the Braves within the next.
And you got and how many games in front of them are you right now? 8.
We're 7 games in front of the Braves, 8.5 against the Mets.
You're talking like you're 7.5 games behind.
Listen, it can always flip. Okay.
You're right. You're right.
It can always flip.
Yeah, you're right.
we know
Look,
how
look
the
who we
winds
talking
of
about here. Look
baseball
who we
can
talking about
change.
here. Right.
You know, the winds of baseball can flip just like that. You know, we only I can see if we was 10, 11 games ahead. We're only 7 games, and we're playing them. We playing
It's
7 games against this guy, against this team. You know, who who can say that we will lose this
it's
series?
the middle of August. I got you. I got you. I got you.
Yeah,
Right.
it's no, it's the middle of August, but guess what? September right there.
True that.
September
That's right.
right there. We about to
We in the
go
building, man. Yada
with
Bear, myself,
Labor Day
left-handed,
check-in. You
Yada in
know,
sports. Mm-hmm.
we about to do
Yeah.
Labor Day check-in soon. So
That's right. Absolutely. Labor Day check-in is coming up. Major League Baseball. Get ready. Get prepared.
so
Yeah.
so these next 6 weeks are
Absolutely.
crucial.
Yada in sports talk, man. Left-handed in the building. Peace.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
man.
it's what all we
you
can
know.
do is keep our foot on these Braves' necks.
Keep your rosary beads, your horseshoes, your rabbit's foots.
Look, wherever guys you pray to, you continue to pray to them, until we get until October.
That's
This
right.
is when the baseball season starts.
You're
Right
right.
here.
You're right.
These last
Absolutely
six
right.
games right here. These
You're
these
right. Every
last six
series, every
weeks
series
is
is important.
intense.
Word up. We're in the building, man. Down in sports talk. It's that time in the show where we get down on what we get down on. Browski's in the house. What you getting down on this week? Take your time.
Well, we're gonna get down on the WNBA. You
Mm-mm.
know, this week, last week, on Thursday, the season, came off of their All-Star break, the Olympic break. Everybody seems who wasn't in the Olympics very well rested. Um, as we see with the Indiana Fever, they came out on fire. Not just Caitlin Clark, but Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston. They had the chick Hunt came off the bench against who were they playing? I believe it was Seattle. Came off. She hitting like 6 threes. She scored 22 points off the bench. I think the break was well worth it for the Fever. It seems like they did a lot of work together. They look more as a team coming into the second season. Right now, they currently was in the 7th seed of the playoff standing, so they're looking pretty good. The New York Liberty came out, big time win over the Aces. That was a great game. Aces still struggling. It's
Mm-hmm.
hard to you trying to three-peat.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it get harder and harder. And speaking of Seattle, they signed the chick Gabby Williams from
Gabby
the French
Williams. That's right.
team.
I was waiting. I
You
was waiting
know,
for you to say something about that. Mm-hmm.
yeah, so she should be joining the team. And Seattle's cooking up something up there now. And Gabby, if she could bring what she what she's shown in that Olympic game to Seattle. Seattle looking a little dangerous. Um, Dallas, looking pretty good. Chicago, even though they lost to Phoenix the other day, they still look all right. They I feel like they're always trying to cause some type of drama issue with Chicago. Now something with Kenny Carter and
Right.
supposedly Angel Reese supposed to be having some type of issue, but you don't hear anything from the players, and you don't see it on the court because when they are playing together, they play well
Right.
together.
Right.
So I don't see what type of issue that they have. Is like they were trying to cause some drama, but as their season is starting to wind down, it's getting more intense. Each game matters.
Yep.
Um, so I'm just excited to see how these last couple weeks going to play out for the WNBA. Also salute to Diana Taurasi, who have the most 20-point games for someone over 40 for men and women's basketball, which also comes to show why I think the Olympic coach needs to go, because if you have someone like that who can average 20 points, you don't play her not 1 minute in the gold medal game. Someone that decorated and that skilled, something gotta be wrong with you. But yeah, that's all I want to do. Give a shout out to the WNBA. The Rookie of the Year race still heating up. It's still a two-woman race, Angel and Caitlin. They both, making a strong push for it. Angel still going off with her double doubles. Caitlin got the most. She just broke the record, most assists by a rookie. So it's I'm just excited for it. I'm excited to see the playoffs. I'm hoping both Indiana and Chicago makes the playoffs. That would definitely bring some excitement to the playoffs. And I'm excited to see where Seattle fall. Connecticut's still pushing strong, and your New York Liberties, they clinched their playoff spot. So we'll see what happens in these next couple of weeks for the WNBA. What you getting down on?
I'm getting down on two things tonight.
I'm
getting down on Shakur Stevenson.
Oh boy.
Like, my man. Like, I know whatever negativity or whatever you deem or perceive as negative, you're going to try to, wild out. But this is being said in all honesty, in all sincereness, all of that. My guy, you're ready. You don't need the Joe Blandinos, and you don't need those dudes, right? I understand the fact of the matter that it's a money grab. I understand it, but you got the biggest money grabs that's out there, right there, dangle in front of you. You could fight Tank 2 or 3 times.
Yeah,
like I'm not understanding what is going on. It's like the book by that great author, Mr. Stevenson. No pun intended, no relation. The road less traveled is what it seems like where you're trying to go right now. You came into the game, really, really talking, whoop-de-woo, and slowly but surely the yarn is being pulled away, my guy. You were in a fight that you threw less than, no double-digit punches in any round. People saw that. People got frustrated at that, Shakur Stevenson. For all the talk, there's not really a lot of action behind that talk, doggy. Much respect to Newark, Brick City, salute, all that. But for you to really get that and maintain that and establish that connect with the people, you got to fight Tank Davis. Not in 2025.
2026.
2026. Nobody don't see that. Figure it out. We was talking behind the scenes. If they was to announce that fight tonight, it would sell out.
Definitely.
Period.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in dragging it out and making it, but no.
It's as big as it's going to be right now.
That's right. It's going to be whatever it is right now. Absolutely. And us over here down in Sports Talk, we want that fight. And I'm getting down on that. And the second thing I'm getting down on a more positive note, have you ever sat and watched the inning of Savannah Bananas baseball?
Yeah, I watched the ending of it.
It's interesting.
Yes, to say the least. Yes,
I'm trying to follow this, and I'm with it. It's different, man. I sat here in Browski, and I sat here and I watched. They played the Party Animals, right? I sat here and watched this thing. Next thing I know, like a half hour, 45 minutes. I was into it. Like, if they hit a foul ball into the crowd and the crowd catches it, the guy's out. It's crazy. Like, they'll throw a pitch and the catcher will set up on the, like, say he's a left-handed batter. He'll set up behind the dude, and the umpire. It's crazy. It's fun. It's bugged out. I try to keep abreast of it. I watch Savannah Bananas base. Whoever came up with the idea, man, and the rules, how they incorporate the rules. Like, if you got ball 4, you walk, right? They got to throw the ball around the infield while you like if you got ball 4, you got to run. You got to sprint to first base, and they throw the ball around the infield. And if the ball beats you to first base, you're out.
That's funny.
That's on a walk. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Then they had this thing called like trick plays. If somebody has a pop up and they catch it with their bare hand or they catch it behind their back or whatever, that's a trick play. And they keep stats of that. It's crazy, yo. I was watching it and I wasn't even, I wasn't even at the salad bar.
Mm.
I was watching this. I said, what in the name of Abner Doubleday is going on here? You know what I mean? I like
Yeah.
they had a dude out there. He had the bandana tied around his head. Then they had a dude that when you hit a ball to the center field, he runs around in a circle and does a jumping jack and then catches the ball. Like this is these dude is
That's wild.
Smoking some serious dust. I'm like, what is this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I got a kick out of it. I enjoy it. Savannah Bananas. If you haven't watched it, just try to watch a couple of outs or a couple of innings. It's definitely different. You know what I mean? It'll bug you out. But you heard it from Down in Sports. We're in the building. We're about to get up out of here. Salute to that one over there. YadaBear don't go nowhere. We're in the building every Tuesday night. Myself, YadaBear, Windwalker's chilling, doing what he does. The icon, always in the building, always with the crew. You know what I mean? And that's what it is. So we'll catch up to y'all next week, next Tuesday. We're getting closer to the end of baseball season. We'll have some college football to talk about. Hopefully, I'll be better with my knowing who's in what conference.
Listen, we're gonna have to write down like what conference. We're gonna need a pie chart for that.
Look at the pie chart. Yo, we out, man. Down in Sports. So we'll catch up to y'all next week. Don't go nowhere, Kimmy. Peace.
Peace.
And Busy B. Satchel Paige's been dead since 1982. I just had to say, I'm sorry, Jamal. Peace to my man, Lord Jamal. I had to say, I'm sorry. I had to say, yo, Satchel Paige been dead since 1982, son. All right? Down in Sports, we out. It's crazy. I was like, what the?